All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Peak to Middle School. My name is Narwhal.
My name is Kyle.
And my name is Chris.
And Chris, we have talked about many times throughout the 41 episodes we've made. He's one of our best friends. We have plenty of stories with Chris. And
we have a lot of stories, and we're hoping to touch on some of those today.
Yeah. So I thought right off the bat, there was one that Kyle just told me about like last week that was news to me, that you apparently had a pretty insane April Fool's prank on your parents.
Okay, so for those who don't know, I go to Gonzaga University and I play for the men's golf team.
The men's golf team?
Yes,
nice,
not
dude.
the women's.
Dude,
nice.
Thanks for specifying.
I mean, you can do that now, I guess. But
Yeah.
I play for the men's team, and I thought it would be a great idea to pull a prank on my mom and tell her that I was getting... I'll just tell you the message that I sent to my mom. I've told this story so many times where I just have it all memorized.
Yeah.
So I texted my mom on April Fool's Day at about 5:30, and I said, "Hey, Mom, I'm really sorry to inform you, but I had a really wild weekend, made some mistakes, and I'm getting drug tested tomorrow morning, and I'm going to fail. I'm really sorry."
This was 5:30 at night.
This was 5:30 at night,
Okay.
yeah. And so what I anticipated from this was for her to call me and for me to pick up and say, "Hey, like, gotcha," and then just hear her
April
reaction.
Fool's Day, too.
Oh, yeah, it's April Fool's Day. Like, I didn't really even expect anything of it, but I was like, oh, let's just see what happens here. So I send this text, and then what I didn't know at the time was that I had a meeting. It was like the junior career meeting or something, and I didn't realize that I had to go to that. And then I got a call from my friend, and she was like, "Where are you?" Like, it's in 10 minutes. It was at 6, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, shoot. Like, I should probably go to this thing. So I take off running, forget everything that I sent my mom, and I go to this meeting, and I thought it was going to be short. Turns out to be like an hour and a half. So
And was your phone off or something?
my phone was in my pocket, and like
Okay.
I felt it vibrating, but I was like, I'll deal with this after. Like, she's probably stressing out, but she'll get over it.
Yeah.
I'll just call her after. And so after the meeting, I see that I have like a whole bunch of missed calls from my mom, and I'm like, oh, she's probably stressing out. So I'm like, I should probably call her, give her a call right after this meeting. And it's probably like 6. No, it's like 7 right now. And I call her, I'm like, and she doesn't pick up. So I call her again. She doesn't pick up. And then I was like, oh, I got to call my dad. So I call my dad, and my dad's like freaking out too. He's like, dude, like, are you okay? Like, what's going to happen? Like, drink a lot of water. And I was
trying
like,
to get you to pass the test.
yeah. My dad's like, you got to pass this thing. And I like pretty much immediately told him, I was like, Dad, it was like, what day is it? And he goes, oh, you dog. And then, so my dad was kind of pissed, but then he started laughing, and he goes, your mom is going to kill you, buddy. And I'm like, why is she going to kill me? And he goes, let's just say she fell for it. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, she's currently on a flight to Spokane to come see you because she was that worried about you.
What a great mom.
Dude, your mom is so dedicated to your well-being.
She was so dedicated, and it wasn't to come punish me or anything. It was because she wanted to be there for me because she knew that I was probably having a really hard time with this situation.
Wow.
Making sure that you're not like
Great lady.
Oh, yeah.
strung out or something.
Oh, yeah. And needless to say, they fell for it completely. And
So what? Did she just show up?
so
And you're
I'm sitting there waiting in the lab for her to land so that I can call her and tell her that it's a joke. And she finally lands, so I call her, and then her words directly, "Hey, honey, are you okay?" Like, first thing she says, and I'm like, oh, I'm in deep right now. I'm in deep. And I was like, Mom, like, it's April Fool's Day. Like, that was all a joke. And my mom, for these guys know, she's like the nicest lady ever, super sweet. And she was pissed. She was pissed at first. And she's just like cussing me out a little bit and just like not happy. And I was like, yeah, like, I'm so sorry. Like, can I do anything? And she's like, yeah, take me out to dinner and you're buying. And I'm like, yes, that's the least I can do in this situation. Like, I need to do this.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll walk to my car and I can get you in like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And I walk all the way to my car. It takes like 10 minutes from where I was going from. And I call her right as I get to the car, and she's like, hey, like I'm looking at the flights, and there's only like 2 flights, and one's in like 15 minutes and the next is in an hour. So don't come pick me up. And this is where I really
That's the
started to feel
worst
bad
feeling.
about it, is because she flew all the way,
And just flew right back.
and then she had to turn around and fly back.
Have you made it up to her?
I told her I was sorry a lot,
Yeah.
but I mean, come on.
It was pretty
That's
funny.
good. I mean, it's a good. Yeah, it's a great story.
And then in
Sucks
my
for her, but
yeah, in my defense too, like she this is just so funny to think about. But in my defense, like she fell for it, and my intentions were not for her to fly to Spokane.
Yeah.
My intentions were for her to call me and me to be able to pick up. But I went to this meeting and then kind of just forgot about this. And then it kind of all just spiraled south from there.
You almost like had a super successful April Fool's prank without even really trying.
Yeah, no,
Like-
I wasn't trying at all. I intended for just a small little prank where she would call me and I would be like, "Ha, gotcha."
Well,
But-
now she's gonna be super cautious every year.
Oh yeah.
If you ever try one again, it's not
Yeah,
gonna work.
like it was crazy. She had her friends from church praying for me, like that I don't know what they were praying for, that I would somehow pass the test and like be okay.
Yeah,
And I guess they were probably praying for my well-being and stuff too.
wasn't your dad like talking to a lawyer and like?
Yeah, I think my dad had called up one of his lawyer buddies and was like, "What's gonna happen? Like, can he get around it?" Like, I don't know. I think they were talking about what
Just
kinds
Googling
of drugs that
how
I
to
would
pass
have
the
been
drug
doing,
test.
whether it was.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the consequences were big if this were a legitimate thing, and the consequences were me losing scholarship and probably not being able to finish my degree.
Yeah.
So I get the concern, but my defense is April Fool's Day, and also it wasn't what I intended.
So on these, if someone does get caught in like a drug test and they're like a collegiate athlete, do they get? Obviously, they like either get suspended from the team or do they get kicked off the team right away? And do they also get kicked out of the school, or is it just the sports side of it?
Might depend on.
So
like, what
it
is.
depends on whether you're getting drug tested by your school or the NCAA. If you're getting drug tested by the school can decide the punishment.
Okay.
And that can be as
can, like,
little
let you
as
go,
a
right?
warning or as much as you lose a year of eligibility.
Okay.
Probably varies person to person, sport to sport. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I would assume basketball might be a little different than golf.
Yeah.
But like if you're drug tested by the NCAA, then it's an automatic punishment. Whatever's in the book is what happens. It's usually you lose a year of eligibility. You have to sit out.
Yeah.
Just sounds not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't do drugs.
So I do want to tell some of our high school stories and just different things we did through middle school and high school. But real quick, I found this, there's this Reddit page called Hypothetical Situations.
Dude.
And there's one that I wanted to bring up with you guys. It just, I don't know. Our show kind of thrives with these like what if scenarios.
Yeah.
All right. So you get 10 million US dollars or your country's equivalent and immortality, but a snail with the same benefits begins hunting you nonstop for the rest of your life. And if it touches you, you die. What do you do?
Oh wait.
Do you
Oh.
take this $10 million?
So the risk is like you get $10 million, but if the snail touches you, then you just die.
Yeah. So you
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm definitely
but
taking
li-
that risk.
listen.
sleeping though, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but just like
Snails are so tiny.
yeah, but you can just like lock your door. Like a snail's not gonna come through your door.
Come under the door. They're snails, bro.
Dude, how small do you think snails are? What are you talking about? You can't just like.
Oh, I'm thinking of a slug. A
No.
slug's basically. a
I was
snail.
thinking of slug too.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
doesn't make sense either. But like my door at my house, like there's not like a space where
Okay.
like things can just walk through.
All I'm saying is if this slug was immortal and you were immortal, he's gonna have a lot of time to hunt you down.
oh, so
And
like
the
it's
slug
a-
knows what it's doing. Come on.
Yeah, like,
its
its
whole
whole
goal
life-
is to kill you.
Okay, but like, I could just like move across the world and I wouldn't know where I am.
That's what I'm saying. I'm taking the money and I'm moving. Like
Like each
I'm
year
buying
you move.
multiple houses and I'm just rotating, baby.
Yeah.
yeah. I could like run away for 10 minutes, and it would take me like it would take it like 2 years to get to me.
But I don't see. I think if this snail's goal was to kill you, you wouldn't see it coming. It'd be one of those things where like
It plans.
it would plan. Like
And you
it
don't
would-
know where it starts
Yeah,
either. It
like-
could,
That's true.
Like it would be
Hop
hiding
in a
like under
car.
my seat right now, and as we were going, it would just crawl up
and
Bite me.
jumps
I'd
and
be dead.
dies. Boom.
It's worth it though for $10 million, dude. But for $10 million, I'd just build these like snail-proof barriers in my house.
Oh, you can research with like the top scientists and find snail repellent.
And
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
And
And
just
put it on
wear the
everything.
gear, like the gear
Yeah, I
that
could
people
wear, like, a
wear for
hazmat suit.
bees.
Hazmat suit.
Astronaut suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could just go to space. I guess that's not very plausible. But the snail's not gonna follow
You
me.
got the
Kyle's
money.
Yeah, I got
I
10
don't
million.
think 10 million is enough to go to space.
No,
honestly.
probably
NASA
not.
probably has so much more than that.
Yeah. Like if the average person wanted to go to space, I think you're gonna have to have more than 10 million.
Well,
I don't know.
one day.
Would you be willing to take care of a gigantic spider for a week for $2 million a day? Like an enormous spider.
Like how big are we talking, man?
The spider has the physical proportions of a tarantula, has the poison of recluse brown spider multiplied by 5, and
what
and
that
had the
means.
ability of a jumping spider, and can produce a huge amount of webs.
But is it in a
can't-
tank or like am I
Yeah.
walking on a leash or like?
The spider has the mentality of a house cat, very curious and hates being in confined spaces alone. The spider must be fed 3 times a day and needs to be fed an entire deer, which will be provided for you.
This is so. Who comes up with this?
It's
How much
already
am I making?
dead. $2 million a day for a week. So you're making 10 million or 14 million, I guess, if it's 7 days.
But if it bites me, I die, right?
It's already dead, but movement must be stimulated for the spider to actually eat it and pay attention, meaning you'll have to take movement to fake the movement somehow.
Wait, what?
So the spider won't. The deer's already dead, but the
Oh.
spider won't eat the deer
Oh.
unless it's like moving. So you'd have to like flail around some dead limbs.
Just pick up the deer and like.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know about this one.
The payment will only be given if the entire week is completed, and the
No.
spider must be alive, mostly happy and healthy the entire time.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
As
I don't
soon-
do spiders.
As soon as the last day is completed, the spider literally disappears as if it never existed.
But so it's just roaming around my house and it can just jump on me whenever and kill me.
It can jump. It can make huge webs. It's 5 times as poisonous.
But like, would I make
Well,
it?
I don't
mad
know if
somehow?
I don't know if it could kill you.
It's
I mean,
like really poisonous though.
I know, but would that kill you? Like
I mean,
obviously,
oh,
if you
Probably.
I mean, I know if you get like
if you could get like I don't know what it's called, but
Like
some
a certain
form of
shot?
medicine, yeah.
like if you had a doctor on
Like, ah,
standby,
shit.
would
Just-
you do it?
Well, if you're making $2 million a day, you're getting a doctor on standby.
Yeah, probably.
I'm pulling a loan for that one.
Anti-doctor venom.
Just imagine like before you make any of the payments, Chris goes to like walks in the doctor's office. He's like, "All right, I have a proposition for you. Like
I will give you $1 million
a day. I need you to come live in my house 24/7. Make sure I don't get attacked."
That doctor. What if the doctor dies?
The doctor
Oh.
gears up.
Yeah,
Yeah, hazmat suit again.
yeah.
Exactly.
Um.
No other way
Well,
around
I would
it.
just wear a hazmat suit. That's easy. Yeah, I'd do it.
Okay. Yeah, you can't get bit if
Yeah.
you're in a hazmat suit.
Unless I get like a hole.
What if he
or something.
strangles you with his huge webs?
Well, he ties me to a wall.
Oh, like
And then, like,
Spider-Man.
Cuts
That's why you
through
got
with
to
his-
keep that spider happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'd feed him the deer.
All right. Okay. I have some more of those. We'll get to some other hypotheticals at the end of the episode. But so one thing that Kyle and I have touched on before that we did all through high school and stuff is like we did like a lot of habanero stuff, and we did it for a video.
Oh, God.
And that all originated because of Chris.
Yeah. I
the
was
habanero
Like
king.
why
me and my brothers were the original habanero people.
I've never met like other groups of people that like I've never met people who just eat them for fun. Like we're the
So-
only people.
Okay. We got to rephrase that a little bit. We don't just eat them for fun.
Yeah, it's like
But I would say that our whole group of friends, we're like gamblers, but we don't like to gamble money.
Because none
So-
of us have.
except for you.
So, okay. But we'll go do something. We'll go bowling. We'll be playing spike ball, and we always want to put something on the line just because it makes the game more fun. It makes it intense. You're kind of nervous if it's something really bad.
Makes it more fun.
So
Yeah.
it's usually something along the lines of punish the loser. And in spike ball or whatever it was that we used to do, pretty much everything, we decided it'd be a good idea to throw a habanero pepper on the line. We heard these things are hot and they can't really do much to your body.
Yeah.
So
This you'd never tried one before. This was the first. Are you telling the time?
When
of the
was
first
your
time
When
you
was
did
your
it?
first time?
Yeah.
when was my first time?
Because my first time was when I did that video. Just because I hadn't lost in those
Oh
situations.
yeah, you had never.
And that was
done
my
it
first
before.
time, and I ate 2. threw
Yeah.
everything up.
You know, I've had so many habaneros in my time that I really can't remember the first one.
Wow.
Are you now at a point where you're kind of like a habanero connoisseur? Like, could you eat one and not
No.
be phased?
No,
Still?
dude, I
don't
have
think
had
anyone
more
can.
habaneros than like our whole friend group, and every single time I have them, like I cry. And maybe it's because I'm a baby. I'm not like bawling, but like it's a natural reflex. Like I'm
Yeah.
dripping
No, I
in
cry.
sweat and like tears flowing down my eyes. I'm running around the room,
Yeah.
and it still hits me just as hard as the first time.
Yeah.
And it sucks just as much. And every single time I eat one, I'm like, why do I do this to myself?
What's your estimate? Like, how many do you think you've had?
20 to 30.
Oh my god! And
I've had 2.
what's
so.
crazy is that like to us, habaneros are like super terrible, but like people that grow up in like cultures where spice is super popular, like people cook with habaneros all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like super normal and probably not even spicy.
Well, we're all just super white, so
I know,
like, you can't
yeah.
handle
And,
spice.
like there's some people that take them and they're like, oh, that's fine. And
Yeah.
then there's other people who literally think they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Last time I had one at school, like
Yeah.
we went bowling, and of course was last place, and I of course bowled like the worst bowling score of my life. And habanero on the line, I was like, okay, I'm having one, and I had one, and 5 minutes in, I was like, this is bad. This is really bad. I was
Yeah.
on fire, dripping in sweat, started throwing up everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like, and I've never thrown up from one before.
yeah,
And just sometimes when you have them, it just can hit you like it's
yeah.
a gun.
You're telling me.
See, but you threw up because you bought a half gallon of chocolate milk and drank almost all of it.
That's part of it, but like,
You can't stop drinking it though.
I don't know, dude. I couldn't swallow the last pepper, and that's why it
Yeah.
happened. Is because like I just couldn't get it down, and then I just like
Yeah.
started
And,
yakking
dude,
everywhere.
The thing, so the first time I did it was you and I did it together at my house here on my birthday, and I didn't know, but like water made it so much worse,
No,
and I just
yeah.
kept drinking water, and then I like started crying, and so I touched my eyes, and then both my eyes started burning, and then I
Bad
was just
mistake.
like pouring snot out of my nose. It was rough. So another thing that I remember with habaneros in high school is there's this guy that went to high school with us named Jay Sim, and you guys were apparently, I don't know who was there, but someone was doing bets with him for habaneros.
I was there.
And he did a double or nothing, and then I
Y?
think,
Yeah, with the Y.
didn't he do it a double or nothing again?
He did like 2 double nothings, and he had to do. Yeah, he had to have 4.
He ate 4.
I think he had 4.
Back to back to back.
But like his strategy was to swallow him whole.
Oh.
Yeah, you got him down.
Yeah,
dude.
he swallowed him whole. And then the next day, he said like the next day I saw him at school, and he said that he was just like on the floor in his bathroom, just in so much pain.
I can't believe he was at school, dude, because the day
a warrior.
after, when it comes out,
Yeah, I was
it
gonna.
is-
He said it was that night.
burns.
At that night, the whole like overnight, he just like
Yeah.
was in the bathroom, just on the ground.
Yeah, that's the thing about habaneros is they're really hot going in, but coming out,
Dude.
they have to be worse.
Yeah.
It's like, I avoided that because
I-
I threw it all up.
I
so.
genuinely feel like when I poop after, it's like my butthole is like raw. It's
Yeah.
like the heat just rips
Yep.
all the feeling off of your
just
butt.
singes
Oh,
all your
yeah.
hair. off.
Yes.
Hemorrhoids.
Yeah, literally.
What are hemorrhoids?
Hemorrhoids? Aren't those when your blood vessels pop in your ass?
Yeah.
What?
You've never heard of hemorrhoids?
I mean, I've heard of
I
hemorrhoids.
feel like
but
there's
I
a
never
chance
actually
that
knew.
we're like talking about a totally different thing, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
No, I've never had
when your,
one.
like,
so
butt
I don't know for
explodes?
sure, but no. It's just like the blood vessels in like the edge of your butthole pop,
So
right?
you got like a swollen beehole.
Sort
that's
of.
what my understanding of it was.
Wait, have you
when
had those?
No, I've never had hemorrhoids, but I've heard it's like similar to when you have the habanero shits.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
I don't.
imagine just having like if you get like a sore like on your butthole. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get like a cut. and you
Yeah.
just-
Chris is so no.
I'm
We talk about shit like this
uncomfortable.
all the time.
No, I love it. I love
This
it.
is like typical, but like that would hurt so bad. Like imagine you just had like
Like a cut. Like you got a like scab on your butthole.
yeah,
dude. Like
how
does that ever
or like
heal?
a pimple.
How does that heal? Because every time you wipe, you're
yeah.
re-tearing it.
Well, every time you shit, you retear. Yeah, that's just
you
sucks.
just can't shit for like a week.
Oh.
You just gotta hold it.
Yeah, that sucks. What if you got stitches? Like imagine the guy that put the jar up his ass.
A
You guys seen that
Band-Aid.
video?
Yeah.
One of you guys probably showed that
Yeah,
to me in middle
might
school.
have
That
been
guy
me.
must have long-term damage down there.
No, I heard he died, dude.
Wait.
I literally heard he died.
No.
Or maybe I'm talking about the guy who let the
The horse. Yeah, that guy died.
The horse bang him.
Yeah, that guy died.
Dude, that's the most disturbing video
I think
I've ever
that guy was from Washington, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, you watched
from
the
Cleon.
video?
Yes,
There's a
dude.
video of it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, dude. We
You haven't
watched it
seen
in
it?
like 7th grade.
Guys.
It was like in that time frame where like 2 girls, 1 cup, and like
Yeah.
the jar, and like the person like shoving the wood chip
Wait,
up his dick hole.
I would never want to watch that. That's traumatizing. Wait,
Dude,
could you see like the stuff happening?
all I'm
Or
gonna
was it,
say
from a
is like,
distance?
He died. I mean, it's a horse. Like it's
Oh
like it's
my
gonna just
God.
rip up your insides.
Oh, also,
like
what's that?
broken heart.
Probably, dude.
Yeah, it literally pierced through your whole
Ah.
insides.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of blood.
Only he knows what a real broken heart feels like.
Do
Not
you-
anymore. He's dead.
That's true.
Do you guys remember SpongeBob Square Nuts?
Yes,
No,
I
dude.
showed that to
Do
you.
you know?
guys.
You don't know
I
what
don't
that
think
is?
I ever saw that.
Oh,
You haven't seen SpongeBob?
No, I don't
So,
know if I want to.
people
was shown-
listening, don't
Don't look it up unless you're into that weird
yeah,
stuff.
but it's SpongeBob Square Nuts, and basically
SpongeBob porn.
it's SpongeBob porn with this guy that's in he's in a SpongeBob costume, but like
His dick's out.
they went hard. Like he's got like paint on him. He literally
Yeah.
looks like SpongeBob.
and he's like talking to Sandy.
And they're like in like Sandy's house or something, and like then Sandy comes in and she's all dressed up.
It's like they're underwater and Sandy like loses her helmet. And
Yeah.
then she's like, "Oh, I can't breathe." And then SpongeBob's like, "Well, I'm a sponge, so I'm filled with air. So if you suck on my
Oh my
Yeah.
then you can breathe." So yeah,
That's so weird.
I'm not gonna say who showed this to me, but it was someone.
And it's
Yeah.
it's really weird. And I just remember in high school there was a phase where like you said you saw it on the bus to a baseball game.
Yeah,
right?
it was like someone's like, "Yo, check this out," and
And
then
I
like
s-
we all watched it. and We're like, "Why are we watching this?"
Yeah, and I saw it on a bus ride to a basketball game. It was
Hey.
just like,
It
dude,
went around
like,
our
look at
school.
it. And people were, I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this. They're like, no, dude, it's super funny, dude. I'm like, it's not funny. Like, this is traumatizing.
Have you
Wow.
guys seen? You've all seen Willy Bum Bum, right?
I
think.
remember like the song, but I don't know if
I don't know if I
it's
actually
like Willy
saw the
Bum Bum Bum.
Yes.
Bum,
It's
Bum.
like silly old Willy.
Look what you've done.
Oh yeah, I don't really remember
Yeah,
what
wait,
the video though.
What was it?
It. Do you want me to describe it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
in detail.
All right, here I go. It's literally about a song about a willy, a penis, for
Okay.
those who don't know,
Okay.
and
dick in a bum.
a bum, which
Yeah.
is a butthole,
Anal.
for those who
Oh,
don't know.
okay.
And it just talks about a guy who likes to stick his own willy in his bum.
Oh, his own in his bum.
Yeah.
That's kind of impressive.
Yeah, and the it's just like this cartoon
Is it?
animated.
Oh, it's animated.
Yeah, and it's like
That's good.
willies detached from bodies and just weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but the song is catchy. So,
I remember kids singing that in middle school.
Yeah.
yep.
You remember old Greg?
Yeah.
This is all about
I
old
still
Greg.
quote
Old
that.
Greg. Yeah.
Oh, great.
I know.
I've watched that video so many times.
got the mangina.
I'm always curious if like kids from different parts of the country, like in middle school, like have the same inside jokes in like videos that they quote all the time. You know,
Yeah.
like if anyone on the East Coast even knows what old Greg is.
Oh, I'm sure they do. That was like a worldwide thing. I feel
Yeah,
like.
dude. There's so many views on that.
Yeah, but like I don't know, it's weird. It's also weird like when you meet someone who's
The fuck?
I think that's Steve.
It's the spider.
He's coming. It's the snail, dude.
Dude, he's powerful. You can open
Just
doors.
burst down the door.
Dude, the door opens and there's like a little snail in the door.
Yeah. No, but what I was saying is it's really interesting when you meet people like at college that grew up in somewhere totally different than you. Like for example, one of my best friends from APU is from the Midwest, like middle of nowhere. His town has like one stoplight, like a tiny little town, and like they're not much different than they have the same interests. People have seen the same things. Like I don't know, you'd think that people are way different, but everyone's pretty similar.
Yeah, the one thing that I've noticed from being in college is in middle school, I think we were at least our class was a lot crazier than everybody else in middle school. Like I feel like we
Was
were
it?
less innocent in like 8th grade than everybody else.
I think it depends what you consider innocent. Because, like, none of us drank or did,
well,
like,
obviously
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
nothing along those lines. But I guess in terms of girls, nobody that I've ever talked to, like, ever spoke to girls in middle school. At least,
I mean, I did it. We talked about it the other day.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. But, like, neither did we really. But, like, we kind of did. Like, my first kiss came in middle school.
Let's go.
Which was early,
Do you wanna-
in my opinion.
Do you want to tell your first kiss story?
Yeah,
You
I'll share
mentioned
it.
it.
It's kind of funny. back in 8th grade during football season, so I guess that would have been the fall. Skyline had a game at Issaquah High School, and I had a thing with this girl.
Dude,
and
that was such a classic
it was
middle school thing.
it was the least thing ever looking back at it, but I thought it was so serious.
Did you guys talk a lot in person, or was it more just like texting?
It was like texting
For sure. That's
like
middle school.
100% texting, and then like we had a class together, but once like it was official that we had a thing, it got so awkward.
Yeah, dude, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like, once you start like dating someone, you like avoid
Like,
talking.
I'm not
to
going to
them.
talk to you.
No,
now.
you don't know what to do.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like you know like the process of getting there, but then once you get there, you don't think past that. So you're like, I don't know what the next steps are. I don't know what to
Yeah,
do now.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then you're just a nervous wreck with all these expectations.
Yeah.
And so it was at Issaquah High School. Some of my buddies were like, dude, like she wants you to kiss her. And I was like, I've never kissed anybody before. Like, and I'm like asking like all the form and everything. Like, I don't even know what to do. They're just like, go for it. I was like,
Wait,
okay.
You were asking who?
The form, like,
I was
like, how do
asking
I
my
kiss?
friends like,
Oh,
what's the
oh.
form? Like,
Oh.
I was way too in my head for
I mean,
this.
there kind of is a form.
were you
Yeah,
like,
and if
we're-
you've never
we're-
kissed somebody,
I would love to just like see that conversation. Like, dude, how do I kiss? And one of our friends is like,
Are you
Like,
leaning?
pucker your
Like-
lips.
yeah. I mean, I decided that okay, I'm just gonna go for it. And Connor was like pressuring me. He's like, you got to do this. I was like,
God,
okay.
Connor pressured everybody.
Dude,
into
he really
doing
got
it.
me
did.
my first kiss.
Yeah.
He really did. And I remember being so nervous. I was like shaking. And so
Were you like standing with her during the game and
we are
stuff?
at the football game, and it's at Issaquah High School.
Which is like our high school's rival. So
Yeah.
it's a big game. There's a lot of people
Super
there.
But
big
like
deal.
in middle school, you don't stand in the bleachers.
You're
You
just, like,
like
on the ground.
you have like your own little area where all the
Oh.
middle schoolers just collect and you just mingle. You don't even really watch the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
And it was just a social thing.
Yeah.
And I remember like I was talking to her a little bit, and then I was like, "Hey, I want to kiss you."
That's a good.
No, I asked if I could kiss her. I was like, "Hey,
Ah.
can I kiss you?"
I mean, I think like as a middle schooler, that's like not
No, yeah.
the worst way to do it.
I
Like,
agree.
That's a good way to
But-
go about it.
You know,
was-
it's not super romantic.
No, but you're in 8th grade, so like
Yeah.
you know that's good for.
Yeah,
an
not that
8th
mine was any
Yeah.
better. Mine
Yeah.
was.
And she's like, "Okay." And then like we start like walking away from the crowd into this like kind of like corner, but like people could totally like see, but like nobody was looking. And I kissed her, but I like halfway missed.
Wait,
It was like the contact wasn't great. It was like
chin.
half lip, half cheek. Like it was just like
why did you just
Right
get
there.
nervous like last minute? You just kind of bailed out.
No,
Like,
He, like,
no.
blacked out for a
no,
second.
dude, I just missed. I don't know if it was me or her, but like we kissed and I was like, oh, that was bad.
Did you do it
try and
again?
kiss him?
And no. It was just a quick peck, and then I was like, oh,
Did you
got
say
what I
anything
need.
after?
Yeah, did you guys say anything?
And then I was like, that was nice. And like, it was so awkward, dude. It was
Oh.
bad. So then we
Yeah.
start walking back, and I'm still a nervous wreck. And we're walking back,
Were you
and
guys
I like,
holding hands or
yeah, we were holding hands, but I
Oh,
knocked
so
over this
sweaty.
garbage can on the way back. Like I wasn't really paying attention to where I was going.
Dude, I know the feeling like when you do something stupid,
Everything
or you
goes
feel
wrong.
nervous, you're just like everything you do just goes wrong after
Dude, it's
that.
clumsy. When I get really nervous, I get clumsy.
Yeah,
like I
me
don't
too.
like I'm not aware of my surroundings.
When I get nervous, I start like tripping on my own feet, kind of
Yeah.
like when I walk.
It happens when I drive too. Like if I cut somebody off, then I start noticing like I'm like, oh, I'm in just everyone's way right now. Like,
or
Yeah.
if there's a
everyone-
cop behind me, I feel like I'm messing up the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
All right, so you knock over a garbage.
knock
can.
over a garbage can. She like thinks it's funny. I like played it off in a horribly awkward way. And then we go back to our own business. We're talking to other people, and then the next day it was just over.
You just didn't talk.
Oh, you guys broke up the next day?
Well, we had a thing.
Yeah,
so
it was a
we weren't
thing.
going out.
But
That's
would you
classic.
say
Classic middle school
did
thing.
But
you
it was
kind
like-
of avoid talking to her? Did you?
No,
did she,
I didn't avoid talking to her, but it was just so weird. I think that it just kind of went back to being normal. And she's like, I think we should just be friends.
Oh.
Probably because I'm a terrible kisser. And so then we went about our business. I was a brokenhearted little 8th grader.
Did you cry?
I don't know if I cried, but I was definitely bummed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've all been there.
Yeah,
Um,
swing and a miss.
One thing, this is not really related at all, but I just didn't want to forget it. So the NBA Finals is happening right now, and the other day, Kyle and I turn it on. Right as we turn it on, the first thing we see is two Golden State fans, like super white, Like
It's
they
like
have
a
like
white kid and a white dad.
yeah, they have like collared shirts on with like the shirts that they hand out at the game over top. You know, so they clearly like they went to the game in these collared shirts, so they're just like super nerdy, and they literally it cuts to them and they go like this and they're like yeah and give like an all 10 high five, and Kyle and I both just like knew we had to talk about it.
Like that's just one of the worst things you can do.
Just like in no situation should you ever give a high 10
To your dad too. Like he just turned like,
High
good job,
10.
son. Yay, dad.
Yeah, it's like
High 10.
I don't know. I just thought it was one of the cringiest.
It's just white.
It's just really white, and I feel like if you're excited, just express it. You can give a high five. You
Yeah.
can give a high five or a fist bump.
Yeah.
Even a double. Even a.
But okay,
Even
that's
that's
a little
weird, too.
weird. But like this,
Dude, this is
don't
just the
do that.
worst.
I don't know if there's a situation where a high 10 is appropriate.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
sometimes it's like it turns to a high 10 and then it turns into a hug, and it's like, why did we hug?
Speaking
Also-
of the awkward like encounters, I
Yeah.
never know when I'm going up to somebody if it's like you
Yeah.
give
Oh,
them
we
one of
talked-
these
yeah,
or
dude.
if it's a
Yeah.
hand, especially if it's a parent. Like we're to
What do
the
you
age
adapt
where
with
like
the parent?
parents almost feel like some of the like cool parents will give you this,
Yeah, because
but
you're
you
like,
never
oh,
know
yeah.
what you're getting.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no. I in recent years, unless it's like a good friend, I almost always just kind of I'll be the one to initiate it. I'll just put a fist up,
Yeah.
so they
I've
know
noticed that, yeah.
like
It's safe.
it's just safe because you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Except
You
sometimes
can't
if
screw up a
people
fist.
aren't paying attention, I put a fist up. They don't see it, so they go for one of these. But then they notice. Then they change to a fist as I change to a hand,
And then it's a mess.
and then it's
So
just
just-
really awkward.
And then paper
Yeah.
beats rock.
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks.
But
Then there's also like we've kind of talked about this before, but like what our friends kind of do is like this,
Yeah.
but that you could go up to someone, you're like, oh, this is just a normal handshake,
for people listening, it's
Yeah.
like when you put your hands kind of together, then you slide and you grip fingers.
and you're not. It's none of the like locking and stuff first. It's
Yeah.
just that simple. But then there's times where like I think I might do that, and then I go for that, and then someone shakes my hand, and then they just grab my fingers.
There's no way to differentiate that from like when you like bro hug somebody though.
Yeah.
Like the motion, the walking in is the same.
And there's also times where you're going in for like the bro hug, but then you clap and let go and then hug, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
why did
so,
we let
so,
go?
So there's
Yeah.
the clap or no.
There's the
you
clap and
let
hug,
go
and then hug.
Yeah.
It's like what?
Or there's the hit your hands at your thumb, you
Yeah.
grip thumbs, and then you hug. Or you can grip thumbs and then you go out and do a
Yeah.
finger grip.
Yeah.
There's so many variations.
There's like 3 variations.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why it sucks for people like us who have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also,
They're
okay,
right.
I'm just gonna say it. All right.
I mean, go for it.
All right. I had to cut a part out there because I had to make sure I'm allowed to say this, and I don't think it's bad. How come black people always do it perfectly? I've never seen black guys go up to each other and kind of dab
Been
each
like,
other up.
hey, ah.
Yeah, but anytime any white guys do it, I always get it. I very rarely had clean like bro-ness. You know?
Yeah, you're stiff.
Yeah.
Stiff
No,
and you
if
don't know
I
what you're
nail
doing.
it, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That's a good feeling, like when you're like, well, I guessed right.
Yeah.
Or those times where you're like, sorry.
Yeah.
Shit.
So Chris.
So John,
So
Kyle.
you got no. No, I'm kidding. You go to Gonzaga, and when we had Willig on here, we asked him. When we had Murtaza on here, we asked him, "Do you have any like cool or crazy stories from school that you're allowed to tell? Just like anything that you're like, that was like
Let's
a
not
funny."
get kicked off the golf team here.
Yeah, no, of course not. But like, just like any like funny thing that or embarrassing thing that's happened or like cool thing where you're like, people should hear about that. Anything you can think of or no?
You can talk about high school when you blamed a fart on Alec.
that one I could talk about. I'm trying to think of college ones though. I know I've done some stupid things, but like off the top of my head, I'm drawing a fatty blank.
That's okay.
But if I think of something, I'll bring it back up. But
All
I'll
right.
tell the high school story first.
Yeah.
10th grade, we're sitting in our history class, and there's some context to this that's necessary.
Okay.
And then the first is that we are 2 very immature 10th graders who laugh in unnecessary times. And
Yeah.
when the time is unnecessary, when it's inappropriate to laugh, that increases our chances of laughing.
Yeah.
And
So if it's something really offensive, you're probably gonna laugh more than.
Yeah.
yeah,
before.
not because it in itself is funny, but
Yeah.
because we
You're not
can't
supposed to.
laugh in this situation.
Yeah.
So you tell us we can't laugh, like all we're going to be thinking about is laughing, and then we're going to be looking at each other and smirking and see the other guy try not to laugh, and that's impossible.
And then, if you make eye contact with someone when you're both trying not to laugh, it
dead.
sets it off.
You're absolutely dead. And so in 10th grade history class, we are learning about what can you not laugh at? Definitely not the Holocaust.
Oh,
So
that's bad.
rough.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're learning about the Holocaust, and me and my buddy Alec are sitting in the very back, and we sit in the far back, like as far as you can go, and we're in the back right corner, and there's like a row in front of us where nobody even sits there. Like that's how far back we are.
Okay.
And we're in the corner. And so the teacher's getting super serious, talking about the Holocaust, and we're in the back and like kind of like looking at each other. We always give each other that look, like don't laugh, to try and make the other person laugh.
Yeah.
And so we start like laughing, and we're like trying to hide it. And it got so bad to we're like hiding under the desks. Like we are under the desk. Alec is face down, like head on the table, like trying to hide his laugh, and we're just bouncing up and down. And some more context. I'm allergic to dairy. So if I eat dairy, like I might get a little gassy, right?
Yeah.
So I
happens.
had dairy, and I remember thinking, "Oh geez, I'm going to fart." Like I remember holding it in, and then the laughing made it so
Oh, that's such a
much
bad
worse.
feeling.
Yeah.
And it was a terrible like combination of emotions and everything that was going on that I just could not handle because I was too immature.
Okay.
And
So you're bouncing up and down.
bouncing up and down, clenching my butt, like trying not to fart. And so it got pretty quiet in class, and I let out the loudest fart.
Did it like come out without your knowing, or were you like, all right,
No.
I'm just gonna get it out?
Oh no! Well, like I
'Cause
was
sometimes-
trying to not fart.
Yeah, but I mean, like sometimes.
Like I was laughing so hard, I was like holding it in, and then it was just like,
It's like it
Oh,
had
so
to
it
come out.
came out on its own. Like you weren't like, all right, I'm gonna push it out now.
no.
Oh.
It totally came out on its own when we were bouncing up and down laughing. And so like the whole class turns around, and because we're sitting so far away from each other, it's one of us.
I never knew that context of the story before. That people knew for a fact it was coming from your direction.
Yes, no, it was one of us.
Yeah.
Nobody
I
sat in
love
the
the
row
story.
in front of us.
Yeah.
And like our buddies on the other side of the room are just looking, cracking up. And so the end of the story goes, I successfully blamed it on Alec. I look at Alec and I go, dude. And like he's still laughing because the whole situation's just blown out of proportion.
Oh man.
And he's still cracking up, and I'm laughing, and I just went, dude. And he was like, that wasn't me. And then our teacher at the time, Mr. King, goes, you two out of the classroom right now. So we're walking out of the classroom, and everybody thinks it's Alec. And we get out, and Alec immediately goes, dude, I hate you. And I'm like, dude, I'm never going to deny this. Like, I'm going to deny this till I die. Like, I'm
Yeah.
never going to
Oh,
confess that this
man.
was actually me. And he's like, dude, I hate you. I was like, sucks for you, bro.
It's so funny because like that's such an Alec thing to get blamed for something. Like I feel like we
Yeah.
always give Alec shit for stuff he
man.
didn't do, and like
Yeah, he got the short end of the stick. a
Farting
lot
in
for
class sucks. Like, have you guys
No,
farted other than that time?
I never have. I
Probably.
feel
Never
like
farted in
everybody
class?
did everything in their power to avoid ever farting. in
No,
class.
I mean I did, but
Sure. I
like
did. I would fart sometimes if I knew it was like gonna be.
I would do it if I
quiet.
knew it was gonna be silent.
but then it smells.
Dude, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, there's no way they don't know that it was me. You know, because
Yeah.
sometimes the silent ones are like the
Yeah.
worst.
Dude, in
Yeah.
6th grade one time I was leaning over I was sitting in my chair and I was leaning I was at a table of all girls too, so it was way worse. I was leaning over to grab something off the ground. As I was leaning
Came
over,
out,
I was
and
like,
did they all look at you?
I didn't acknowledge it.
So
No one said
Did
anything.
your face probably got really red?
Oh,
though,
for
huh?
sure. I started sweating immediately.
Oh.
And that's almost worse because like we didn't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Isn't there some story about somebody hitting you in the face with pizza?
Dude.
Have you told that?
Yes.
On like
okay.
episode 1.
Yeah,
think.
but like a lot of people haven't heard this.
Yeah.
So in 6th grade, we were sitting at lunch. Were you there for that or no?
No, I wasn't
Okay,
there.
and Chris, you weren't at the school yet. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're sitting at lunch. I'm just minding my own business, eating my food, having a great time. All of a sudden, just this kid trips and like he's holding a piece of pizza and like somehow slams the pizza into the side of my head and like holds it there for like 2 Mississippi, like holds it there. And I'm just like sitting there, and all of a sudden there's just like this warmth on the side of my head. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? And this guy goes, oh, sorry, man, and walks away. I never saw who it was.
You didn't like confront him? You're like, man, what
No,
the hell?
I was in 6th grade.
You just let it happen.
I was just like,
so what? You like
and I'm
wipe
just
it
like
off?
wiping grease and shit off my face, and just like played it off.
funny.
And everyone was just dying, laughing.
Do you guys remember the pantsing phase that we went
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
through? That was bad.
That's so annoying.
Did you guys ever get double pantsed?
Never got double pants.
Did
Got
you-
single pantsed.
Did you ever double pants anyone?
I don't know if I single pants somebody and it went south. They were not very happy with it, and I
Yeah.
got in a little bit of trouble. But
Like in school,
at Pine Lake.
like in a class, or like.
No, it was at the what do you call those after school social things?
They were after school social.
Oh, are you saying like the dance things?
Yeah,
like a middle school
I never
dance.
went
like,
to those.
Where like class would end at like 12 and they would have 2 hours of like a social in the gym.
Wait.
Do you remember those?
Never mind. No. I don't.
Oh.
Why'd you go to that?
I don't know. Most people did.
I didn't. Oh, I guess I was antisocial. So.
Well, also if you wanted to catch the bus, you had to stay till then
yes,
anyways.
yeah, I walked home.
I see. Okay, one thing, but I wanted to come back to farting real quick.
Dude, me too. I have another story.
How come? One thing I was thinking about the other day is like, there's never an appropriate situation to let out a fart, which is pretty
It's not
lame.
fair.
Yeah, like it's like equivalent to burping. It's like burping out of your ass. Like
But it smells
everybody
really
burps.
bad.
And,
But,
and
okay.
it lingers.
It does.
Yeah, it
but
does.
it's like everybody in the world farts. Why is there
Yeah.
never like? There's no situation where like someone farts and it's like every time it's like, dude,
It's
why'd
like, oh,
you
excuse
fart?
you.
Well, I
Like,
think it's because it's because you can hold it in, you know.
But a lot of
You have
times
the
you
option.
can't.
But like you can sneeze. Like what if like farts are like sneezes and everyone just goes bless you?
Yeah, like I feel like there
This
should
world
be
would be a lot
there
different.
should
It
be
would.
situations where it's like
Just-
not frowned upon
Just
to.
imagine that you're in math class and just everyone's like bless you.
Dude, that'd be so awesome.
This kid in my math class, like my junior year, it was just silent and the teacher's like lecturing or whatever and just farts and everyone laughs. He gets silent. He goes, "My bad."
That's awesome that he
Everyone's
just
laughing.
owned
Yeah,
it.
he owned it. It was awesome.
See, I feel like with awkward stuff like that, it's only awkward if you make it awkward. Like if you own it, you're like, oh yeah, that's me. It's like then people are just gonna shake it off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no one gave him shit for it. Everyone like laughed and were like, "Damn, I like this guy."
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to own up to it or successfully blame it on somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One or
You
the
got
other.
two options. You can't just sit there awkwardly or you're just devastated.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask you about. So you were homeschooled for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
When did you first go to public school?
I would say it was 7th grade.
7th grade? Okay. Did you I wanted to ask you about it because you're the only one I've ever met who's been homeschooled.
Okay.
Did you like it? Or like, do you have
So-
any stories or what was it like?
So being homeschooled, I thought was, I'll go with the pros and cons of what I liked and what I didn't like.
Okay.
I didn't like being homeschooled because it kind of, to me, it felt like I was being restricted from my friends, and all my friends were the people who I played sports with. So
Yeah.
whoever was on my sports team at the time, or like Knutson lived nearby, and I guess that was from sports too.
Yeah.
But like usually just either neighbors or like sports friends, and I always wanted to hang out with them, and I was jealous that they got to hang out all day at school.
Yeah.
But like that's like the one con to it. And then, but the pros were like, I would not be as close as I am with my brothers if I wasn't homeschooled. I spent all day, every day with those guys.
So it was all three of you. And
Yes, it was all
Yeah.
three of us, and I was the first one to go to public school.
Okay.
Ooh.
But I didn't like the non-social aspect of it. But again, like I got the social side of things just from sports, and I hung
Yeah.
out with people all the time. So I wouldn't say that like affected me very much. But I did really want to go to school just
Yeah.
to be with all my buddies all the time.
Yeah.
And I was jealous of that. But like I wouldn't trade it because my relationship with my brothers is like
Yeah.
we're 3 peas in a pod. Like
Yeah.
literally we do everything together, and I trust them with anything, and I don't know if a lot of siblings can say that about each other.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. And then the transition from being homeschooled to going to school academically was fine. I think just because I went in 7th grade. I mean, it's not like you go to 7th grade and you're like, oh, I don't know
Super
how to
overwhelmed.
multiply or whatever you're
Yeah.
learning then. I mean, it's obviously like intro to algebra and stuff, but
Yeah.
I had no problems with that side of things.
Yeah. So
And I got to see girls for the first time.
What was like the day to day like when you're homeschooled? Like, just walk me through. Like, what was it like? Was there like
your
a
mom
set
your teacher?
schedule? Yeah.
So my mom was my teacher. But pretty much like there was like a whole curriculum for it. So like certain lessons that like my mom wouldn't be able to teach us. There's a whole like kind of like online. So it was like half online. And then I wasn't 100% homeschooled. We went to these things called co-ops, which was once a week. And that's actually where I met Connor Crisp because he was homeschooled too. Mm-hmm. And he had a class with Brian way back in the day. And that would be like, you go to like 4 or 5 classes and then you'd have homework. So I guess like it was like school once a week. And then like I met a bunch of people there too. But like I didn't hang out with them because I wasn't playing sports with them more often and they lived further away.
Yeah.
But the day to day was like, you wake up, mom would wake us up and she'd be like, all right, time for school, whatever, have breakfast. And then there would be a list of things to do. And pretty much when you finish them, you're done. Okay. So you have to do all these things. Sometimes it would be a little, sometimes it would be a ton.
Yeah.
And the benefit of it was my mom was a flight attendant, so we could travel whenever we wanted.
Oh yeah, you could just do like work on the road.
So we could do work on the road.
Wait, so you guys just like went with her everywhere she went?
No. He's saying if they wanted to like go on vacation,
benefits.
They could leave whenever they wanted. There was no like obligation.
Yeah, so we'd take trips down to our cousins down in Florida, and we'd spend a week or 2 down there, and we'd be doing our schoolwork there.
Dude,
you got to do all this stuff before you can go play, and it was like a lot of motivation to just get it all done.
Yeah,
go play wiffle ball or whatever the heck we were doing back then.
That's what's really cool because like in public schools, I felt like a lot of times there was days when like we just wouldn't do anything, or like if you felt like you were kind of excelled at a subject and you could finish your work early, you just sat at school for like the 8 hours basically, like having nothing to do. Yeah. Whereas like in your situation, you could like grind it out in like a few hours and then get to do whatever you want the rest of the day.
You definitely can maximize your time. And if you have a good curriculum and you're learning all the stuff that you need to be learning, you're not wasting a ton of time like you are in public school.
Yeah.
So
was it your choice to go to public school?
Yeah, I wanted to go and I wanted to be with my friends and spend more time there. And I liked it. I liked public school.
Yeah.
I missed being able to like spend all the time with my brothers and my family. But again, I was also in 7th grade, so I didn't really think about that a whole lot. I was just like, let me go be with my friends.
Yeah. Wait, was it so like on your average day, you get this list of work. Then is like your mom there, like guiding you guys? Do you have like a classroom? Like, would you all sit at like a table or something?
It wasn't like traditional public school where you got teacher teaching, students sitting here.
Okay,
taking notes.
I didn't know like what the format was like.
Just on the couch.
But it was like we would have like a list of. So my mom would pretty much do our whole planners, and on the planner she would list all the things that we have to do.
Okay,
and then we would just go one by one. And then we'd have to do like a reading, something else, and then maybe do an essay or write something or do math problems or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We had to do everything every day, obviously. So she would just be checking in and making sure that we're doing it. And I guess here's a funny story. So when we would do it, we would highlight it, and then that way my mom would know that we did it.
Okay.
And like once a week or so, she would go back and so like if we needed help with something, she would obviously help us with it.
Yeah.
And like, but a lot of the stuff was like in the readings and stuff, but she would teach us a good portion too.
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, all right, now that you know it, you got to do the homework.
Yeah.
And so we'd be like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then once we're done, we go play. And sometimes we would highlight that we're done.
Even if you're not done.
Even if we're not done.
Yeah.
And we would go play. And Brian was notorious for that.
Yeah, I can see that.
there would be times where it'd be like 8 o'clock and we'd just be hanging out, running around, doing whatever. And Brian would come running up and he goes, "Mom's checking homework." And I'm like, well, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then, Maddie does all his stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, "Mom's checking homework." I'm like, how bad is it? He's like, so bad. And he would get busted like on the weekly for just not doing stuff.
That would suck having like your mom be your teacher. Like it's like two authoritative figures in one.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you'd get punished for it if you're
Yeah.
not doing your schoolwork. Rather than getting a bad grade, it would be like you're grounded or you don't get
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
play video games.
Yeah,
Or
that's
you don't get to hang out with a friend this weekend or something
Yeah.
like that.
So when you're homeschooled though, like did you guys have to do like the flash unit, like sex ed?
So the not probably as detailed as you guys
Okay.
did,
uh-huh.
but that was like my dad's gonna have this conversation with you,
Uh.
or your dad's gonna have this
Yeah.
conversation with you. So that was that, and like obviously when you guys are learning about the whole flash stuff, you kind of know what's coming. Like
Yeah.
like guys talk, and especially
Yeah.
if you have older siblings, like
Yeah,
they tell you everything.
Yeah,
I knew a lot because of my neighbors. Like I knew more than a lot of people my age when I was like
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
young.
Yeah, like
I'm-
I had neighbors that were older too, and they were in 5th grade when we were in 3rd, and
Yeah.
it was, listen to what I just learned today. And I'm a little 3rd grader, like, oh.
Do you know what a boner is?
Yeah.
Yes, dude. I remember he said that we were laying on the trampoline, and he told me what it was, and I was like, oh.
What's that? That's disgusting.
Gross.
Did you guys? Well, I guess obviously you have, but did your parents ever give you like the talk, like the sex talk?
My mom gave me a book. I remember when I was like going
The
into
bees.
like there was literally like the birds and the bees.
What's that?
I didn't read it though.
It's a phrase for the sex talk.
Yeah, the
Oh.
birds and the bees.
Oh,
I think it
know
might be also that I think was the title of the book. It was the birds and the bees.
That's so funny.
I did not read it. Sorry, mom. Didn't read it.
So, but then did she just kind of imply or hope
Well-
that you knew what it was all about?
I don't know. I mean, she was just like, I need you. Like she's like, just read this, like whatever, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, mom, I will. Didn't read it.
How old were you?
I think I was in 5th grade, so I was like when we were starting Flash, which is like the sex ed.
Yeah. Did you guys get weirdly excited to learn about Flash?
Dude, I was pumped.
I was like, dude.
I was
like,
so excited.
I think it was the adrenaline of like maybe I'll see like a boob on screen, like,
Yeah.
like a diagram
Like
of
no,
a boob.
we just saw like a diagram of a dick, like a flaccid
Yeah.
dick,
Oh.
and it just looked so gross. And like
Yeah.
I remember one kid, I remember it was just silent. And he goes, "Mine's little,"
Oh, yeah, you
and
told
then
me
also like there's a diagram of a dick, and he goes, "It looks like it's swinging."
about- yeah.
We're all
We
just
were
like,
we were in the
"Dude."
same class.
Well, it was like all the 5th grade classes
Oh,
together.
Yeah. No, I think he said.
Did you learn about it like with the girls sitting next to it and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's all in one
I
room.
know it was weird.
So like the girls would learn about the guy parts and the guys would learn about the girl parts.
Yeah.
Like, but it was everyone was together. No, I think what the kid asked is he goes, "So what if mine's little?" like,
Like, dude, that's your own problem. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then there's this. I also remember a couple like dumb questions, kid. Like, I just have weird memories of stuff. I remember this kid goes, so like we were learning that if you have sex, you can have a baby. This kid goes, so if you have sex 100 times, are you gonna have 100 babies?
That's a valid question.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
know.
question.
But like
Yeah.
I even knew like that's a dumb question. I was like, I don't know. But then also there was this other kid that goes, can men produce breast milk? I'm just like, dude,
So funny.
what do you think? Some
hard
kids
enough.
just don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's possible though. You can like
I don't
lactate.
know.
Wait,
I think
wait.
you can.
I will never squeeze my
Is
nipple
it
that
based
hard.
on like if you're fat? Like if you're like a fat guy and you have man boobs, are you more likely to be able to lactate?
Maybe you have more like what's the female
Estrogen?
that yeah
A man that just has more estrogen.
or like less testosterone. I think you can.
Men
lactate.
produce? Do they produce estrogen?
I
It's
think
very
no,
little
it-
amount.
A
we have
little bit, yeah,
bit.
but some people can have more than others. So like,
Yeah.
there's some guys who like that kind of have like booby pecs.
Oh wait, is that?
That's
if
the thing.
you
I
like a
mean-
really buff guy with like pecs that literally look like boobs,
Well, no, I don't
that's
know.
just muscle.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like there's some guys that naturally like will have more of a guy chest, and there's some guys that will naturally just
Oh,
have
yeah.
more like.
Whoa, is that because of estrogen?
Yeah, it's because
no
they have more
way!
estrogen. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Not saying like moobs, but like it looks more like
Yeah,
kind of boob like.
like just the form.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about guys with boobs.
Oh wow, this is kind of
Dude.
mind blowing.
Yeah. Learn something new every day.
Okay, one thing that I thought when I, like, my parents never gave me any sort of talk, any book. I think they just kind of relied on the school to teach me, and I don't know. I think they just kind of or understood that I kind of already knew what it was all about, and like to not be stupid or whatever, I guess. But one thing that I thought when I first learned like what sex was is like if penis just went in, that it was like that was it.
Pregnant.
Like yeah, I was like, if it just goes in, there's like gonna be a baby. Like I
Wow.
didn't know that it had to like
Other stuff had to happen.
other stuff had to happen.
Right.
You know,
And if you're still wondering, other stuff needs to like if you don't know, some people might not know.
people. Yeah,
Don't spoil it. dude.
we have fourth
Yeah,
graders.
you'll learn.
You'll
I
learn
hope
one
there's no
day.
fourth graders listening to this.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a high school story.
Oh.
The time that we put the cheese stick in Chris's hood.
Didn't we? I think we told
We
it.
have talked
like,
about it.
way long ago, but that was right when we started, so a lot of people haven't heard it.
I
Yeah,
was bullied.
dude, we were like so annoying at lunch. Like we used to just do so many dumb things.
We would just
like
do things to annoy people.
Yeah,
that was the whole
Just
goal.
try and piss each other off.
like we
It
would
was
take each other's
bad.
like if you got up to get something or go to the bathroom, somebody would take your backpack and throw it in the girls' bathroom. So you have to walk in the girls' bathroom and grab it, or they'd turtle it, or like
Dude, turtling was the worst.
yeah.
I always had so much like crap at the bottom of my backpack though, so if you turtled it, like it all comes out.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to like I sat near the end of the table, so I would hook my backpack underneath the leg of my seat so no one could grab it, and I would stick my foot through the loop so no one could grab it. Like I was
really
like
dedicated.
yeah, because I got my backpack thrown deep in the girls' bathroom one time.
Yeah.
And there were girls standing there. I was like, "Hey, can you give me my backpack?" And they're like, looked at me like I was crazy, and I'm like, "I guess I'm coming in." So I walked
feel
in
like
and grabbed it.
what sucks is like nowadays, I feel like kids could get like suspended for shit like that. Like because people are so sensitive about like, oh my god, like a guy in the girl bathroom. Like I feel like I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
I could just see something happening.
We never got in trouble
where
for
like yeah, no one
it.
ever.
I mean, no one
cared.
ever saw though.
Yeah, but I feel like someone nowadays would complain and then get suspended.
But then the cheese stick, anyways.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like in my lunch, my mom always put a cheese stick in there, and I'm like, I didn't want to eat the cheese stick. Like those things kind of creep me out. It's like slimy and
Kyle had one every day for years, and I
Never.
never ever saw him eat
no,
one.
it was I never wanted
Your
it.
family lost so much money on your uneaten cheese sticks.
I told my mom I don't want the cheese stick, and she kept putting it. And yeah. So anyways, every time the cheese stick came out, it would just it'd slap people with it, throw it at each other, and then put it in each other's hoods. I put it in Chris's hood one time, and then it was in his hood the whole day. And he
Yeah.
like sent a Snapchat to everyone at like 4:00, like
at night.
I had
like
the
after school.
I had the hoodie on all day, and obviously I didn't know when they put it in.
It was like hanging out too. Like we
And-
saw you walking away.
Yeah, like I didn't know. How am I supposed to know? And then I like take it off like later in the day when I'm home, like probably 4 or 5 o'clock, and like a cheese stick falls out, and I'm like, those sons of guns, they're gonna get it.
I can't
Oh,
believe that like no one told you like
Yeah.
the whole rest of the day like, hey Chris, that's a
Nope.
cheese stick.
I used to be so like conscious about every time we were at lunch or every time like we were with all of our friends, like checking my hood a lot or like making sure like something wasn't in my hood.
Yep.
And also like when people used to wear those shirts with like a pocket on them, like Nick used to wear them like
Just
every
stick
day.
'em in there.
And no, we would like throw stuff. Like we'd throw goldfish in there. Like
I remember
you'd
that.
sometimes people would notice and you'd like walk away and you'd like
Have
have
a
goldfish in your pocket.
Oh, those are the good old days,
Ah,
dude.
miss those
Dude,
days.
they were the good old days.
There was so many memories built just at that one
Just at the
table.
lunch table.
at
Yeah.
lunch.
Dude.
We were at the same table every year too, just like at the bottom of
Looking-
the stairs.
Looking back at it though, like high school was so cliquey and exclusive. I feel like our group like wasn't very exclusive. Like we didn't really care who sat at our table for the most part.
Yeah.
Except for that one kid.
I
Remember that?
was gonna bring that up.
There
we
were-
were kind of like dicks to this one.
This
kid.
I
one-
don't think
but
we were
he
mean.
we
I
just
don't think we
didn't
were
want
mean
him
to
at
He
our
was
table.
this random kid who none of us knew.
Yeah, I don't know who
He
he
just
was.
came in one year at the start of the year, just started sitting at our table, which like is fine. Like if it was like some random kid who didn't have friends, we would never like tell someone to leave or be
Yeah.
mean.
We never told him to leave.
I think we assumed that like he was friends with like somebody else in the group.
Yeah, and
I
we're
think
like, who
everybody
knows him?
assumed that until like a couple weeks in, and we're like,
Who is this guy?
who knows this guy? Like,
Yeah, and it's like, it's one thing if you're just like this innocent kid, but this guy was so annoying and
Yeah.
blatantly
Like,
like rude and mean and like. By the end, I'm like, dude, like you probably like. There's a reason you have no friends, like. 'Cause
No,
you're
yeah,
such a
we
dick.
definitely had guys in our group say things like directly at him, like we don't want you here.
And then he would, and yeah, then
and
it
he
got.
would always come back.
Yeah, it
and then
would-
like the nice guys of our group would be like, yeah, well, like he doesn't have very many friends,
Yeah.
and then,
And then
we would
the-
try and be nice to him.
And then it was this weird dynamic where like half the group would literally say to his face like, dude, like don't sit here anymore, and then the other
That's
half
so
would be
mean.
like, oh hey dude, how's it going? Like
Yeah, I always tried to be nice to him, but I remember the one day like he tried to jump in on the like grabbing the backpack thing, and he took Jordan's backpack. And that's like the wrong person's backpack to take.
Yeah, Jordan turns into a rage monster.
And he just took Jordan's backpack and like sprints down the hall, and Jordan gets back and goes, "Where is he?"
And it's like, if you're not like a part of the friend group, like you don't have the right to like pull a prank on someone.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of like social aware. I don't know.
Yeah.
He just wasn't very socially aware.
But I did hear that his mother had like murdered someone.
I thought that he
So-
like beat up his mom.
Oh.
Either
situation.
He used to tell us that he was in juvie, and we're like, what?
Well, yeah.
He told us that.
I
yeah,
didn't really
he
know
beat
what
up
to
his
believe
mom.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid.
I
Was,
mean, it could have been true. Like,
who knows?
we can't say it wasn't, but yeah. I sure
Before
hope not.
before we wrap it up, I'm gonna do a couple would you rather's, because these are always just fun.
These are always
and
great.
Just have a jolly old time, and especially when we're with Chris, we do a lot of would you rather's, just like anyways,
Oh,
like
yeah.
stuff like this.
Yep.
So
I have this theory that money can buy anything. It just has to be the right amount of money.
Yeah.
So what's your price for your like
For what?
your ass penetration? We've talked about it before.
Yeah, we have had this conversation before. It's definitely 7 figures. That's for sure.
7 figures. That's like 10 million.
No, like a
No,
million.
million.
Oh, my bad. You're telling me you wouldn't do it for 900,000?
Dude,
Yes, you would.
I would consider
For what? For a million?
900.
900,000.
Oh, I'd do it for way less.
I'd
What would you do it for?
I'd do it for 500 grand. 600.
Like 250.
250 grand?
Guys, think about it.
Dick
Like,
in your ass?
you would be
500
you would
maybe.
be
You
400?
devastated.
Yeah, but
But then you'd have a lot of money.
I mean, yeah, I
I'd be
guess,
like, suck
guess
it.
you wouldn't really have to look.
it would hurt to poop.
It would
though.
just it would
back to our earlier
basically
conversation.
just be a bunch of
Gosh.
pain and like grunts.
Oh.
And then but it's over pretty.
Yeah.
It also
Pain and
depends how
grunts.
long does it take.
And we've also talked about like what if this were a reality and one of your buddies like accepted this offer and
Oh yeah, like
you're
what
in
if
the
I
other
had to do it to
room?
you? Oh man. All right, new topic.
All right, I found a really good one. Would you rather have all the powers of Spider-Man except the webs shoot from your penis, or have the ability to fly but your penis is the propeller?
I would do that. I would do that.
like a helicopter?
Yeah,
you just landed that. You just take off. That means you fly around just like this.
yeah. So you're basically laying. So
You could go.
you're laying down, so you wouldn't be able to see the ground unless.
That's how you land back down, though.
Oh,
No. You can go both ways.
oh, you can like lay down and your penis is spinning just to keep you
yeah,
up.
you're right.
I think I would rather do that. I wouldn't want to do the Spider-Man one because like people might think it's the other thing.
Oh,
You know?
Freeze!
And like and that's like straight up like
you just
I mean,
kinda-
like,
you're
what are you
going
gonna
to
do with
jail
that?
for that?
But then you could just like do this and like swing around buildings and stuff, like Spider-Man.
or like if you ever had to fight
Ugh.
someone, you can pin them.
pew pew pew.
All right, no, yeah, I'd take the helicopter.
Yeah, I would too.
3 for 3.
Would you rather have the ability to transform into anything you've ever seen, or have the ability to professionally learn any skill just by observing it?
I would learn a skill.
But you could become anything you've ever seen. You could be
I would-
Leonardo DiCaprio.
So.
He's rich. He's hot.
Are we only talking
Or
about
I could
visually?
become as good of an actor and just stay myself because I could learn that skill.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
And I would be the best baseball player ever. I'd be the fastest
Dude,
runner. I'd
could
be
you
the
imagine
fastest
being
swimmer.
a multi-sport professional athlete?
Oh,
Just
you
the
could be
best,
the
at
best at
everything,
everything.
ever. You'd
Oh,
be
you
the
could
best at everything.
LeBron. You could be. Who's the best baseball player ever? Mike Trout.
Barry Bonds.
You
if
could
steroids
know
doesn't
everything.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Trout.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Chris, I was asking Kyle at work, what is your price to legally change your name to Kyle Stafford for a year?
But you have to like go through all the legal stuff. Like you have to
Yeah.
actually change your
But
name.
like you got to get a new ID. Like that is your name.
People can't call you Chris.
Okay,
Yeah, people can't
I'm
call
trying
you
to think
Chris.
of this like in a full reality. What would I accept to be Kyle
'Cause, like,
Stafford?
It's
So-
a name is just a name. Like I don't think it's that big.
Kyle Stafford.
Well, like
a
a good
name.
salary is like I'm trying to think of like a relation to a salary. Like
I
if
mean,
this
you
were
can-
a job, like
Like a
I would probably want to be paid for 1 year, dude. I think it would
50,
be like
50 grand,
no, I was thinking like 150.
150
Really?
grand.
Yeah.
Tell me
like,
you wouldn't be Kyle
dang.
Stafford
No,
for a year
dude.
for 100
Honestly
grand.
though, like 200, dude.
200.
No.
Yeah, like honestly, like go get a good job and then just
But it's just your
you.
name. Are you that invested into Chris Mogg?
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but
Like,
your parents
honestly,
would get
I'm
it.
invested in my name. Yes.
Yeah, because as an athlete,
Well, that's not even it. It's like it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
who I am,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, but like,
I'm Chris. That's just me.
or you could be Kyle.
just imagine like
It's just two of us.
Chris is like at the end of like his senior golf season, like trying to go pro, and then all of a sudden, all these scouts are like, wait, what happened? Where did Chris Mogg go?
Who's this Kyle Stafford kid?
Yeah, where
Out
did
of
he come
nowhere.
from? That's funny.
Chris Mogg finishes college. Kyle Stafford turns pro.
Yeah.
You bet.
You would love it.
I'd be all over it. Just
Uh,
Kyle Stafford on the tour.
Isn't there like a story about some professional athlete whose like paycheck got sent to somebody else with the same name?
What?
I'm almost positive. No, it's a golfer. It's definitely a golfer.
How do you send it to the wrong person?
Like they won a tournament or something, and the check was written out and like sent to the other person's house. Somebody with the same name, so somebody just got this fat check.
Jeez. Like if someone
Bank
like
or something. I don't know.
if someone sends me a check for Kyle Stafford, they're not meaning to send it to me. They're sending it to a different Kyle
I
Stafford,
know.
but they get it. They
You-
give it to me.
well, first of all, you can't cash a check that big. You can't just go ask for $1 million cash.
Well, okay, but deposit, whatever.
You can't deposit it because it's not meant for your bank account.
How do you know that?
Well, the IRS or who? I mean,
Somebody would find
yeah,
you.
they would realize like, hey,
I'd be like, they
the,
sent me
the
a check.
real guy hasn't got his $1 million check.
I'd be like, that's not my fault. You sent me a check for $1 million. I'm Kyle Stafford. Sorry. I don't know what you want me to do.
If you went to court over this, you would just lose.
Well, my
I-
defense would be, this
Like,
check
it
says
just-
Kyle Stafford.
it came
I
to my
am
house.
Kyle Stafford.
That's true.
No,
Therefore-
I'm Kyle Stafford.
Be like, okay, that's fine, but they sent the check to me, so it's my money.
Yeah.
I earned it for my name.
I could see you arguing that. I don't
Yeah,
think you'd
I
win,
don't think I'd win
but-
either.
What
But
if that was a reality because I changed my name to Kyle Stafford?
dude, they send all the checks to me.
one day that actually could happen. That'd be pretty
If
crazy.
there's any famous Kyle Staffords out there, I'll be waiting for my money.
Sleep talking, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I'm a notorious sleep talker,
Yes.
and Kyle can prove it.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Well,
He's witnessed.
he's told the story once.
Yeah. I have
Oh, really?
on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
shoot.
But
Screw it, I'll tell it again.
you can tell it again.
On his brother does it too. So like I was spending the night at their house and like they were each on like they're in the same room, like on either side of the room, sleeping in their beds, and I'm on the floor in the middle. So I'm just in between them on the sleeping. And then in the middle of the night, Chris just sits up and just goes, and then his brother Brian sits up and goes, dude, calm down, it's just the golf thing. And Chris goes, all right, and lays back down. And I'm like, what is happening right now?
Kyle's just so confused.
And also Chris also sleep texts his dad, close the door. The door is closed. And his dad comes in, he's like, hey, why'd you text me? And Chris sits up and goes, close the door. And his dad's like, the door's closed. And then in the morning, Chris is like, I think I texted my dad. And I was like, yeah, he came in and you yelled at him and the door was already closed. I don't know.
It usually happens when I have something like important the next day that's on my mind, and like I have trouble
Oh.
sleeping. Then I'm like kind of in and out of sleep.
yeah.
And then like sometimes I can't distinguish what's real and what's not, and I think my dreams are real, and I'm like half asleep, so then I start talking.
Do you have any interest? Like, what's the weirdest sleep talk situation you've had?
Oh, in my freshman year of college,
What happened?
there's actually a video of it.
I've seen
My roommate, so he just like documented, and sophomore year, my other roommate literally just wrote everything down that I said. There's some pretty funny quotes. Oh, I have two stories.
Okay.
The first one, freshman year, it was the night before we were gonna leave for a tournament, I believe. I might be wrong, but not really important.
Okay.
I was thinking about golf, and I go to sleep, and my roommate said that I like sat up a few times and like mumbled stuff, then went down, and he was just awake on his phone. So he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try and video one of them."
Yeah.
So I sit up, and I go, "Dude, there's gravy all over the greens." The greens are like, obviously, for those who don't know golf, what you're putting on.
Yeah.
And I said, there's gravy all over the greens, and he got it on video
Oh, it's so funny.
and posted it on Snapchat. It's a really funny video.
Do you still have it?
I could get it.
I've
if
seen
you
the
wanna
video.
I've never
attach it.
seen that. I want to see that. That's funny.
Yeah, I'll text him and he'll send it to me. And then sophomore year, we had a top and a bottom bunk, and each semester one of us was on each of them pretty much.
Yeah.
And What was it? Oh, so I had been asleep, and my roommate was always up way later than I was doing homework.
Okay.
And he would have his lamp light on his desk.
Yeah.
And I can actually remember this one. Like, I literally remember everything that happened. And to me, it was real. I was awake, and that was what I saw.
Yeah.
And so I'm laying on the top bunk, ceiling right there, and I swear to God, a snake was coming out of the ceiling.
Dude, bro, you're literally like hallucinating.
Oh, yeah. And it was because I was like, it was probably a dream. Like, I
Yeah.
probably was dreaming that I was laying in my own bed.
Yeah.
And a snake was coming out of the ceiling. And so I jumped off the bed, landed on the couch, and I was like, and I literally remember it, and I land on the ground and I go, snake. and then right as I like snap back into it, I was like, wow, what have I done?
So like you jumped off the bed and then like as you kind of hit the ground, you kind of realized that like,
well, I landed and then I went, snake. And my roommate was like, what? And I was like, I can't believe I just did that.
That's so funny.
Dude, because that kind of happened to me too. I told it on the podcast, but I was like I was like half asleep, and I saw 2 spiders fighting on my ceiling. And I was like, I wanted to watch them, but I was like fading into sleep, and I was like, no, I want to see the spiders.
Yeah. I've hallucinated, but it was only after I got my like a big tooth pulled, and I got home and Mario and Luigi were dancing on my ceiling, singing to me with a snake.
Dude.
And like they started playing with the snake, like, and it was because I always played Game Boy, and they were singing like the Game Boy, like the Mario theme song.
Wow.
I was tripping balls.
Jeez.
But,
oh wait, didn't you have one more where you were like spending the night with like Alex's family, and like you sat up in bed and just looked at his mom and just went, ha!
Yeah,
laid
I
back
like
down.
sat up and just started laughing because she was the only one up, and for some reason I looked at her and just
That's
laughed.
That's so
terrifying.
creepy,
And
dude.
then went back to bed. Yeah, she was pretty creeped out.
Jeez.
All right. Well, with all that being said, I think we can wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Peak to Middle School. This was a blast. Chris, I'm sure that we only touched the very surface of all these stories that we have with Chris through middle school and high school. There's plenty. So we'll definitely have Chris on again sometime. Yeah, be on the lookout for Chris in a couple years. Maybe he'll be a pro golfer and you'll turn on the TV and Chris will be getting the green jacket.
Maybe his name will be Kyle Stafford. Who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe Kyle Stafford will be working a desk job.
Who knows?
That's also a
I will be.
possibility.
Who knows?
But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are on one of the streaming platforms and you want a video version to see our faces or whatever, check out YouTube called Peak to Middle School. Anyways, Kyle, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Kyle Stafford36. Also, you can follow the podcast at Pims Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, probably Instagram. We post some great clips. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Also, if you are on an iDevice, go to the Apple Podcast thing. App. It's purple. Go to Peak to Middle School. Rate us 5 stars. Leave a review.
It literally takes 27 seconds max.
Super appreciated. Chris, where can they find you?
Yeah.
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at mogdog24.
Yep.
DAWG.
Oh.
24.
Okay.
Mog MOGG. Half man, half dog.
Yep.
And then Instagram, Chris_Mog24. So hit me up.
Yep.
I'd love to gain a couple followers,
Yeah.
John, where can they find you?
You can find me at Hey Narwhal on Twitter and Instagram. Also, I just want to shout out Chris for wearing our merch on this episode. It's pretty dope. I don't know. It's cool. Even though it's like, obviously he's one of like our real life friends, but it's still cool seeing people like just show up
Rep
like
us.
wearing your shirt, So anyways, with all that being said, we appreciate all your guys' support. We've seen a lot of growth over the last couple months. It's been pretty fun. So there's new episodes every Monday and Thursday, new videos on my personal channel every Wednesday. And that's it. See ya.
I love you.
Love you.